One of the most frightening sensations of anxiety is the feeling like it's difficult to breathe. In fact, this is one of the most scary feelings that anyone can have with or without anxiety. Now, with anxiety, at times, it can feel like you're struggling to breathe. Your chest feels tight and your heart seems to be beating out of your chest. It can make you think that you're having a medical emergency and on the verge of passing out. But don't worry, because this is an extremely common symptom of anxiety and you're not in any actual danger. So in today's episode, let's talk about why you have difficulty breathing and what you are going to do to catch your breath and get back to feeling normal. Let's dive in. As you might have heard me talk about, my anxiety first began with a string of panic attacks. And no, it wasn't 2 or 3 panic attacks. I had somewhere around 8 panic attacks in a single day. The first one happened when I was relaxing at my kitchen table, drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. It was in that moment that I was hit with my first panic attack. And from there, it turned into the scariest day of my life. In fact, there were moments throughout that day that I was convinced I was seconds away from dying. With each panic attack, I'd feel this overwhelming surge of panic and fear rush through me. And then my chest would get really tight, my heart would begin beating really fast, and it'd feel very difficult to breathe. Every single time, without fail, I'd think that I was on the verge of passing out. It simply felt like I couldn't take normal breaths and I wasn't able to get enough oxygen. What made matters worse was that each panic attack seemed to be getting worse than the one before it. So somewhere between panic attack 6 and 7, I rushed into the emergency room. I told the doctor what was happening and they did a series of tests, but they couldn't find anything wrong with me. He mentioned that it sounded like I was just having panic attacks, so he sent me off with a prescription for Xanax. But I wasn't convinced. I left the ER absolutely thinking that there was something seriously wrong with me. But of course, the doctor was right. There was nothing wrong with me. I was simply suffering from intense panic attacks. But why were my panic attacks making it difficult to breathe? Well, because when you experience a panic attack or you're suffering from anxiety, your fight or flight response has engaged. You are being flooded with adrenaline, cortisol, and other stress hormones because your body believes that it needs to spring into action. In other words, your body is getting ready to fight a threat or flee to safety. But here's the important part. To get ready for this intense physical activity, your body needs more oxygen. So unsurprisingly, the rate of your breathing increases. You start to take short, quick breaths instead of longer, slow ones. This creates the sensation that you're not able to get enough air, even though your body is actually receiving plenty of oxygen. On top of that, anxiety triggers your muscles to tense up, including those in your chest. When these muscles tighten, it can create a sense of pressure or constriction in your chest, making it difficult to take a deep breath. But again, this is your body's natural way of preparing you for immediate action. Okay, so to recap, when you're feeling like you're having difficulty breathing, I want you to know that it's a normal side effect of anxiety and panic attacks. I promise that you're getting enough oxygen, even though it might not feel like it. Also, there's one other concern that I want to address. When it feels like you're struggling to breathe, you can begin to worry that you're going to faint or pass out. But I want to assure you that fainting from anxiety or panic attacks is extremely rare. See, fainting is actually caused when you experience a drop in blood pressure. But anxiety and panic attacks, that causes your blood pressure to increase because your body is wanting to keep you alert and conscious so that you can respond to threats. So rest assured, it's very unlikely that you will actually faint. All right, how do we make it easier to breathe when we're experiencing anxiety and panic attacks? Some will tell you that you just need to slow down and concentrate on your breath and try to take longer, deeper breaths. But that's not what I'm going to tell you. That's focusing on the wrong thing. Our focus needs to be on the core problem, getting rid of our anxiety and panic attacks. To do that, I have 2 things. First, for panic attacks, I'm going to put a link below to the episode I did called Why You Need to Encourage Your Anxiety to Get Even Worse. That's going to show you an incredible psychological tool to stop your panic attacks forever. Second, I'm going to put a link to the 5-step cure to anxiety and panic attacks in the link below. That's going to give you the step-by-step guide that I use to overcome my anxiety, and it's the same steps that I teach to my clients to allow them to fully recover from their anxiety. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are millions of people suffering in the same way you are suffering. With the right systems in place, you will fully recover from all your anxiety symptoms and get back to a normal life. I promise. Thanks so much for joining me today, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button on the way out. I'll see you on the next episode.